Imagine falling asleep, and suddenly you find yourself in a city you have never seen before. The streets feel familiar. You know where the train station is. You recognize certain buildings. There are neighborhoods you seem to remember. But when you wake up, something strange becomes clear. This city does not exist. You have never visited it. You cannot find it on a map. And yet, while you were dreaming, it felt completely real. Some people experienced something even more unusual. They returned to the same dream city multiple times. Each time, the city becomes larger. New streets appear. New districts form. The city seems to grow. Why does the brain sometimes create entire fictional cities? Is the mind constructing these places randomly? Are they fragments of memories stitched together? Or is the brain building complex simulated environments for a deeper cognitive purpose? Today we will explore what modern science says about this fascinating phenomenon. We will examine how the brain constructs imagined environments, how memory fragments combine during sleep, why spatial systems in the brain can generate entire landscapes, how dreams simulate experiences, why some dream worlds feel stable and recurring. The goal is not to claim that dream cities exist somewhere outside the mind. Instead, we will explore how the brain can create complex environments using the same systems that allow us to navigate the real world. Because once we understand how the brain builds space, the existence of fictional dream cities becomes far less mysterious and far more fascinating. The brain is a world-building machine. One of the most remarkable abilities of the human brain is its capacity to simulate environments. Even when you are awake, your brain constantly builds internal models of the world. For example, if you imagine walking through your home, you can probably picture each room. You know where the doors are. You know how the hallway connects to the kitchen. Your brain can simulate this environment without physically being there. This ability relies heavily on a brain structure known as the hippocampus. The hippocampus helps the brain create what scientists call cognitive maps. These are internal representations of spatial environments. They allow you to navigate familiar places, but they also allow you to imagine places that do not exist. This means the same system that helps you remember a real city can also construct an imaginary one. Place cells and the map of space inside the hippocampus are specialized neurons called place cells. These cells activate when you occupy a specific location in space. For example, when you stand near your front door, a certain group of neurons activates. When you walk into the kitchen, another group activates. Together, these neurons form a neural map of your environment. Another group of neurons called grid cells helps organize spatial navigation. These cells create a coordinate-like system that allows the brain to track movement. Scientists discovered grid cells through research involving animals navigating environments. One of the key researchers in this field was Maybrit Moser and her collaborator Edvard Moser. Their discoveries helped reveal how the brain constructs spatial maps. Importantly, these spatial systems can operate even when a person is imagining or dreaming, which means the brain can build entire environments internally. Dreams are simulated environments. Many neuroscientists believe dreams function partly as simulations. During sleep, the brain replays memories, processes emotions, and explores possible scenarios. In this state, the brain may construct environments where these simulations take place. These environments can be simple: a single room, a hallway, a house. But sometimes they become far more complex. The brain may assemble fragments of different places: a street from childhood, a building seen in a movie, a train station visited years ago, a park from a different city. These fragments can combine into a completely new environment. When many fragments combine, the result may resemble an entire city. But this city is not copied from reality. It is synthesized. Memory fragments as building blocks. The brain does not store experiences as complete recordings. Instead, memories are distributed across many neural networks. Different aspects of a memory are stored in different places: visual details in the visual cortex, emotional tone in the amygdala, spatial layout in the hippocampus, contextual information in other cortical areas. During dreaming, these fragments can recombine. This recombination process may create environments that feel coherent, but are actually built from many different memories. For example, a dream city street may combine the architecture of one place, the street layout of another, the lighting conditions of a third location. The brain blends these elements into a single environment. Because the brain excels at constructing spatial maps, the result may feel like a real city. Why some dream cities feel consistent. Some people report returning to the same dream city many times. When this happens, the environment may become more detailed with each dream. Why does this happen? One possibility is that the brain is strengthening the neural representation of that environment. Each time the dream occurs, the spatial map becomes more refined, just as a real place becomes easier to navigate with familiarity. A dream environment may become more stable with repetition. This creates the impression of a persistent fictional city. But in reality, the brain is reconstructing the environment each time. The role of imagination. The brain networks involved in dreaming overlap strongly with those involved in imagination. When people imagine fictional worlds, such as writers designing fantasy cities, they use many of the same brain systems involved in spatial memory. This means that dream cities may arise from the brain's natural creative capacity. Even without conscious effort, the mind can generate environments that are internally consistent. Why the brain builds large environments. One reason the brain may create large dream environments is that spatial simulation is useful for processing experiences. Complex environments allow the brain to simulate movement, exploration, and interaction. This can help process emotional experiences, social situations, problem-solving scenarios. A city provides many possible paths, locations, and interactions. This complexity may give the brain a flexible stage for simulation. When dream worlds become extremely detailed, some individuals report dream worlds that feel almost like persistent universes. They may include recurring neighborhoods, transportation systems, familiar landmarks, districts with different characteristics. While this may feel extraordinary, it can still arise from normal brain processes. The brain is capable of constructing extremely detailed internal models, especially when spatial memory and imagination interact. What science does not support. Popular explanations sometimes claim that dream cities are alternate dimensions, shared dream worlds, memories from past lives. However, there is currently no scientific evidence supporting these interpretations. The evidence we do have points toward explanations involving spatial memory systems, imagination, memory recombination, neural simulation during sleep. Dream environments feel real because they use the same brain systems that construct our perception of real environments, but they are internally generated. Conclusion: the brain as an architect of worlds. The human brain is an extraordinary world-building system. The same networks that allow us to navigate real cities can also generate entirely fictional ones. During dreams, memories, emotions, and imagination interact in ways that can produce complex environments. Sometimes those environments resemble entire cities, not because they exist somewhere outside the mind, but because the brain is capable of constructing detailed spatial simulations. When we dream of cities that never existed, we are seeing the architecture of our own cognition, a glimpse into how the mind organizes space, memory, and imagination. And in doing so, the brain reveals something remarkable. Even while we sleep, it is capable of building entire worlds.